are crying, oh Lord, oh Lord, oh Lord, send the obia, send all the obia you buy for me.
And we are saying welcome to it, a conversation with a difference. We are here at the Bois Academy of Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you so much for joining us. And we have Roanna, Byanille, and here is Carly, little sister. Now, a little while ago, I spoke with Carly, so it's a blessing to speak with you today. And we also have Jamie Philbert, and she's the pointer woman for the Bois Academy. And you see them holding, and when we talk about Bois, we're talking about female stick fighters, Kalinda. And I want to start off a little bit, apart from just saying thank you for making the time. Give me a little history now.
Well, actually, I am from Princestown, New Grant, and I grew up with my father and mother. Seeing my father playing stick, going by the guile from small, I used to hold a t-shirt and roll it, and my brothers and one of my sisters, Therese, we hit each other, and every time my father go to play stick, which is Muxilal, he always makes sure his kids are there around the ring. So that is in our blood. It just did not happen that I grab a stick and start to hit a stick. Generation, it's in our blood. So I love stick.
And we're going to get back to that because I heard there's a saying that Kalinda is love, and we're going to talk about that a little bit. But Jamie, your experience is a little different. How did you come to Kalinda?
I had a horrible car accident in 2018, December 14th. And shortly before that, I had met Rondell Benjamin. So after the car accident, I met King David Match Brown through Benji. And why I say Kalinda is love is because those two men helped to heal me. And how they did that was through Kalinda. So the first time I met David, David saw my arm in the sling in the car. And so I'm saying, I say, again, I cast him. Sorry, stay there. He going back inside the house. He went and get some bush. He said, you put this on your arm and do it every day. And every time I saw him after that, he would give me a new bush, something else to do. The love ways, I don't know how else to explain to people besides that Kalinda healed me. So that was my entry point into Kalinda. And as you can see, I have both arms moving just fine now. And as a result, I became very ambidextrous because my left arm was all I was using. I started doing whip, and then eventually I was able to hold a stick within like 2 months. And I never got any medical attention. It all came from practicing Kalinda, not just the physical practice of it, but the spiritual practice of it, singing the love ways, learning other rituals inside of it as well too. So that was my entry point.
No, Roanna, I want to come back to you and talk about growing up in because you said generations and generations. You thought it was something that was different or something that was special, or just that we do it?
Well, it's special to me because I really love stick. I really love stick, and it was normal for me because my father, like I say, he always there. He's one of the king. So we had to be there, you know, and mommy had to make sure she take us there. And standing up around and watching Carly play, watching Tony play, you know.
No, but being involved like that, you know, they say that to somebody with a hammer, every problem looks like it's a nail. You find yourself getting into problems a little more because you have this history about you. Say, but no, you stay there, let me bring a boy for you. You ever find yourself in situations like that?
No, not really, because when the drums start to beat, I mean, automatically, the stick just reach in your hand.
But with a kind of history like that, and thinking that is more than just you two ladies, why is it to you that you don't necessarily hear about so many females in stick? It feels kind of almost as though female stick players, for want of a better word, almost kind of invisible. Jamie, I'll let you start off.
I feel that when we were at Muxilal's house and we were asking him about women stick fighters, many of the older women stick fighters would have passed on. Why we don't hear about them, I feel that something has happened around Kalinda where the narrative has changed. And it's a false narrative that's going on for the most part in terms of what a Bois person is, right? Not just the woman or the man inside of it. The Bois woman is very central to Stick. She is the organizer. She is holding a certain amount of power, an effortless power. She is about choice, yes? And it's something that's understood. It's not something that she has to fight for. The men in the space understand that. So I think that for me, anytime I've spoken to any of the older Stick fighters, they speak about women. So I think it's the general public that doesn't really know about the women in a particular way. And I think just society, DK, I think society, and we keep names like Sophie Bellet and Hardback Doris, but we forget that there were women past that, you know, like Ras Munifa, you know, Mother Marian, Mother Marva. So there are people, Queen Rosie, you know. So for me, it's an honor to be a Bois woman and to know that I'm standing on the shoulders of all these other women as well too. So I'm not sure exactly why, but I feel like there are people who are outside of Stick that are not calling the women's name. Yeah, it's not happening inside of the community the same way.
You feel the same way with that, Rosie?
Well, pretty much yes, but a lot of women sort of scared who want to play Stick. They kind of scared because they ain't really see no woman coming out and playing. But it have Tati who does play, like my niece, like Kali's daughter. And it have other women there, but
But when you say that you hear the drum and the stick reach in your hand, who are you playing? You're playing females, you're playing men.
I played anybody. I played anybody.
So you say take your time and sing the melody. One by one we go play anybody.
And I don't have no friend thing in that either.
That's right.
You jump in and as you come, you get in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you have a lot way too much friends spoiling the game.
That's right.
So I want to ask about your experience in Stick from younger years growing up to now. What are some of the things that you see in some of the changes, for better, for worse? Or?
Well, they think actually, a lot of people thinking it's just you just jump in the ring and they make it seem like it's not how it used to be before. Sacred is not like that anymore. So they kind of taken away from how it really supposed to be. You know, like when you're supposed to break, how you're supposed to play proper. It's not really like that anymore. People thinking it's a joke. I don't know.
It's a thing.
Yeah.
But with that, how does practice go for you? Because I see some people play Stick, and it's the prettiest thing. I remember sometimes looking at people like I footwork, or some other people like Stokely, the way they would just kind of glide on the floor. Even like Tony and Kali, the way you're not sure if they're coming from left or right, because they like this small, but they feel like they're this big.
Yeah, true.
And then it have some people that feel like, okay, what now? And sometime a man and come on the band and let me do a thing.
Yeah.
So how much training goes into it? And is it something that in your blood or something that you start with but you develop going on?
Well, you develop as you go on. You develop. But I never practice. I just play because it's in my blood. That's the difference. But people have to practice. You have to practice to get better. In order to get better, you have to practice. It's not like some of these people are understanding. They just want to jump in the ring and think it's just a grab a stick and
Until it
yeah, it's not like that.
Some people don't even wash the foot before they come. Back, we are speaking with Roanna Byanille as well as Jamie Philbert, Stick Woman Things, because Kalinda is love. And Jamie, you said something just now about what it means to be a Bois woman or a Bois man or a Bois person. I see things happening in terms of people posting on social media and claiming, and I want to talk about the claiming as well, but what goes into being a Bois person?
I think that the thing that I understand, and Rosie could jump in anytime, what I understand about Kalinda, about being a Bois person, is a way of life. It is not just randomly, I pick up my stick, right? You are connected to your stick. You are your stick. You are your Bois. The Bois is not just a stick. It's not just a weapon. It's a living thing. The understanding that you are not just Jamie anymore. I am Rosie. I am the community. They are me. I'm the ancestors. I am my dark self. Yeah. So you're living inside of a multiverse of who you are when you're a Bois person. Mm-hmm. And you're human, I know, but you're not human. You know? So you're operating from a space of understanding that you are a divine, sacred space, not just the guile, not just the stick. Like, you are also sacred. So you operate with people in that way as well, too. When I am around Kalinda communities and Kalinda people, there's a certain kind of love. The introduction to the love that I felt with Benji and David, and when I met King Ratu and started to meet other people inside of the stick community, Laffit, Stone, and I'll call the proper name, Donald Lewis and Ronald Lewis, Kwesi Swamba, and then meeting this queen, Roanna Byanille. It was always love. It was never, I felt like I was home. I felt like I belong somewhere, you know? So being a Bois person is, it is a multiplicity of things. And it's not just one thing, and it's not just about dancing and shaking your bottom and holding the Bois, and like you might know 2 or 3 laugh way. It's a lifestyle. You're living it every day in and day out. How I speak, how I treat people, what I eating, how I eating, how I decide to dress, how I walk out the house. There's a sense that you are living so much because you understand that death is a part of life. So when it's time to die, you know that you have lived completely when you get to that part of the cycle. So that's my opinion on what it means to be a Bois person. In terms of the claiming that is going on in this space, I want to be compassionate, and I want to say that I understand that as African people, as Caribbean people, we are searching for identity. We are searching to hold on to something that belongs to us. So while Kalinda is for everybody, everybody is not for Kalinda. If you cannot understand the reverence that goes into it, if you cannot understand that there are people who have come before you inside of the space, and you have to go and sit at their feet because you are standing on their shoulders, when you read a Bois poem, when you're in a play, when you sing a lavwe, and lavwes aren't even sung, they're chanted, right? So understanding that the lavwes are prayers, they're proverbs, they're laws. We're governed by those things. We run our life by those things. So Rosie and I could start singing a lavwe and start talking bad about you, Deacon, you wouldn't know, right? But you would know, because you know stick thing, right? So it's more, it's, Kalinda was, there were secret societies. So it developed in such a way, and now we're in the space where, because everybody feel like it's culture and it's not a sacred martial art, that they can just take a piece of it and they have, they're entitled to it. So I am not happy about what I am seeing. I believe that if people really want to become part of Kalinda, really understand Kalinda, then they have to go through the right channels, and they have to do the right things, and they have to venerate the living practitioners inside this space properly. You know, you see, I corrected myself just now by calling Donald Lewis and Ronald Lewis by their stick names. I did it on purpose because if you don't know them, you can't call them by their stick name. And to me, stick people are royalty. So put a king in front of it, put a queen in front of it. We have warriors and kings and queens in our space, and Kalinda is the representation of that inside of this space. And if we don't understand that as a people, we're not going to get very far. And it's evident with what's going on inside of the country. It's completely evident to me. It's evident what's happening inside of the arts. Theater would be different, dance would be different. visual arts, and I'm not saying it's bad right now, but there's a certain level that it could be at that we're not reaching because we're not venerating the thing that we want to do a play about.
And you're talking I feel my pause raise, and part of it, one of the things that I think about is two people might do the same movement, but they do it from a different place. They do it with a different energy. One person may have more history behind it, and it's almost as though it's not just a movement, it's a kind of spiritual expression. So naturally, the end will be different because you're starting from a place that is very different according to plenty of people. They have levels to this.
Yeah, exactly.
But let me hear your take on it now, Queen Rosie.
She spoke very well. She spoke for me too.
DK, if I wanted to do, let's say I wanted to do a monologue or a play about Rosie, but I only heard things about Rosie, right? It's not that I can't do it, but my job as an artist is to go and find out who Queen Rosie is. Because that is not just saying, I just do an art for the sake of art. Art is supposed to have a certain kind of integrity around it. And I feel like as people of the Caribbean, we have to move that way. Because if we don't do it, then what has happened will continue to happen, right? People will come into the space, the others, I'll call them, will come inside of the space, and then they will document, they will do all the things that we were supposed to do, and then they will take it and it'll be on Netflix, right? And then we've lost it. And we don't see what we have until we lose the things. I want Kalinda to be where it should be in a space of sacred martial art. Everywhere else in the world where martial art is studied, everybody in the country have learned in China. Everybody in the country have learned in Japan. Even if you want to be a doctor, you must learn it. So what will happen if we did that in this country and learn the discipline, learn the code and honor inside of that, yeah? So yeah, the honor is missing for me, the integrity is missing for me, and the accountability is missing. It's not that you can't touch it, but it's how you go about researching it. And even if you fail, you didn't do the right thing, okay, we human. Accountability, and then backtrack and say, all right, but fail with your integrity intact. Hold on to it while you're falling down. And that's it.
We run along with questions, but
Sorry,
we're going to talk about integrity later. But at the same time, I want to make a special mention to, I think it's red drumming.
Yes.
Because
Because
it's actually, and just like we say, there's levels to it. Having someone from within the space and the community help to create content and curate that content is a different thing. So in terms of like being able to replay a side shot because you know that shot makes sense and it's a little different to what was happening before.
Yeah.
Or you're able to zoom in at a later date and show that, wait now, it's not this end of the stick he was using. He used the short end. So it's really kind of almost thiefy trying to thief. And being able to know these things to help the information go forward, I think is really important.
Damien did an amazing job with that because that was the last day of my initiation that Rosie and I played. And that day, when I got out of the car, you could ask her, I was like a little child because I had been wanting to meet her for so long. And Benji had come to the car, he said, Jimmy, you want to come in the car? I said, come in. I said, having a moment, I tried to get out of the car. I was like, because Queen Rosie said on there. He said, come in the car, girl. So I come out of the car. And I am so honored to be in her presence. Again, I understand that I stand on the shoulders like people like Rosie. And I should say women like Rosie. Although I'm standing on all the Bois people's shoulders at this point.